afternoon. Today we're here with Eduardo Roel. He's the CEO's manager. So we're going to start with the interview. The first question is, Eduardo, can you tell us about the company context, about mission, vision, objectives, like a general context about the company?
Okay, so Interra International, what we are, we're a commodities trader. But more than that, it's actually like we like to call ourselves a solutions provider. So what we do is we work with different types of companies that import in other countries, and we facilitate the importing process for them. So in other words, we do the documentation, we do the logistics for them.
What is your role in the company, and according to it, tell us about your experience and your responsibilities.
Okay, so my role in the company is as a sales manager. I have to call on different accounts in other countries. My main markets are Colombia and Chile. So what I do is I call the customers, see what their needs are, give them some market information, and help them make a good buy, a good educated buy. And my experience with the company has been everything has been amazing. Everything has been good. Support from the top executives, the top level managers. I get support from everyone, so it's definitely been a good experience.
Do you started to work in USA with the company or do you started in Mexico?
No, I started to work with the company in the United States.
Um, so you know any coworker or any person that became an expatriate that be transferred from one country to another, for example, from USA to Mexico?
Yes, actually, there's a couple of people in our office that came from Mexico, moved from Mexico to the United States, and started working with Interra.
And you know how is the process, how they may be transferred, how I don't know their contracts change or their salaries or like any aspect of the transferring process?
Yes, what I do know is that the most complicated part of the process was definitely the working visa and all the different documents that come with being able to work in another country. So I know that was definitely a challenge for them. Some other challenges along the way was, the he had to move with his whole family, so it was about getting him set up in a good area with good schools for his kids. There was definitely a couple obstacles.
Now,
Like,
according to your perspective, can you tell us, can you see the division of the company referring to the decision making?
is in some aspects decentralized just because there's moments when, for example, I have to make a split second decision and I don't have time to run the decision by top level managers. However, when it comes to the direction of the company, I do see it being very centralized because there's the CEO has the vision and it's, how do I explain this? It's sort of, he likes for his vision to be pursued. However, when it comes to daily decisions, daily trends, I do believe it's very decentralized just because it's an international company and we have people all over the world. And sometimes, because of time differences or just because of time in general, there's not enough time for a top level manager. So in that aspect, I would say it is decentralized.
Okay, in line with what you have said, do you consider this, decision making division has been a strategy that helps the company going overseas?
Yes, I do believe it has because we're trained to be qualified. Different people have different ways of making decisions, but I do believe that the company's family values, integrity, being honest, being a straightforward businessman. I do believe that it is translated to the different sales managers, and in that case, it has gone well. It has been successful for them because, like I was telling you, it's all over the world, and sometimes people have to be trained to sort of not guess what the CEO would want, but sort of, I guess, know the direction that he would like.
Now, we want to talk regarding to the internationalization process. Do you know which could be some of the FSAs, like the firm's specific advantages of the company in international transferable, if it's non-transferable, if it has, for example, a location advantage or a recombination capability. So, do you know some firm-specific advantage?
Well, some specific advantages that I believe that we have is because of location. So our office is in Atlanta, and we export a lot of chicken. And the state of Georgia, where we are, our state is the chicken capital of the world. So we're able to have a little bit of an advantage, and that's in that sense that we can create we can the chicken farms. We can go see the plants. If there's a plant, we can go to the where the cold storage where the product is being held, and we're a little bit closer in that sense in when it comes to location. However, there are some disadvantages just because, for example, my office is in Atlanta, and I have to be doing business with people in Colombia. So sometimes the whole interaction through the phone or through email, something get lost in the message that you want to portray because you're not there in person. So maybe that's one of the disadvantages. But yeah, that's how I would sort of measure it.
Yeah, right. Yeah, you have both of them, like location advantages and you are international transferable.
Okay, in relation to these FSAs, do you think or do you know if the firm works with the offshoring or outsourcing processes?
Offshoring or outsourcing?
We contract from the United States, but they do some outsourcing. But we do have offices in China that they hire Chinese people. But I'm not too sure how the salary is in that sense or how they're being paid or like that. But I do know, for example, we have offices in South Africa. We have an office in China, so they are um, outsourcing, I guess, some of the employment and hiring local people. But I think that's the only sort of sense that I would see some type of outsourcing.
Okay, now talking about other subject, as we know you are located and in charge in the offices located in America. So what are these challenges or political risks do you consider are important to take in account in some of the host countries that you manage at the moment of implementing the business operation? We refer to the possible harms that could damage the company or the capacity to succeed.
Okay, so the major political tree is that at the moment, the United States President Donald Trump, he wants to get rid of a lot of the free trade agreements that are in place with a lot of the Latin American countries, specifically, North American Free Trade Agreement, but there's also other free trade agreements with countries such as Colombia that he's looking to maybe not dissolve, but edit it to say, in other words, and that could really put us at a disadvantage because these countries that import American products would then have to pay a quota or some type of tariff, and that's the main risk, political risk that I see in my industry at the moment. There's always going to be that political risk to work in Latin American countries, uncertainty of just in general because of stereotypes of corruption or the commonly known problems in third world countries.
The last question: do you have faced any case in which the main problem it lies in both the rationality, and we refer to this term like the lack of information of the market or in a country?
If I've had any problems with,
Bounded rationality.
I guess, with lack of information in
Yeah.
a country.
Yeah,
Yes.
exactly.
Yeah. So, for example, here I'll give you an example. When I first started working in the Chilean market, it was very hard for me to sort of get the confidence from people because they hadn't really met me. So everything was being done over the phone or through email. So that was definitely, a big obstacle, just because I believe in the Latin culture, people want to, they want to see face to face who they're dealing with, and there was a lot of lack of information because of that. Like, I wasn't able to, get the information that I wanted from customers. It was I had like a wall. They have like a wall in front of them towards myself. So definitely, when I got down there, it was definitely opened some doors, and it was just, a lack of information, lack of research about the country, and a little bit about how they do business and the culture.
Okay, thank you very much, Eduardo. That's it. There were all the questions. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.